Maximus Analysis here for October 26, 4 p.m. at the close. Here's the ES, and you can see very light day today. And again, that does not mean I would not be looking at to try to pick a top or anything like that. Again, we can see this resistance area that I cannot believe that's actually got retested so quickly. But again, it's almost like year end of last year. So to look at things, you can look at here's October. Remember, October is year end for a lot of mutual funds, and it came all the way back. It almost is scary how these. I don't know if this move is going to almost be duplicated as far as the strength goes. So, kind of just looking at this, kind of eerie, right? How these things can measure out. So I don't know if they're going to get to that point. But that would be a pretty much a mirrored move from this level. So um, just be careful. Again, going long right here, right now, but just make sure you're buying on a proper dip versus chasing. It would need to break down a little bit more. It would have to break below at least 2020 for me to be excessively bullish. And if it pulls back, I want to see the strength of it because you can see they've had a couple of run-ups, and you can also measure this one out as well. Maybe you say, okay, this is kind of this move and it's already finished. It's kind of mirroring that one, but it's above it. So we just have to continue and see the strength that it continues with because it's mighty strong, I tell you that. So you have the Nasdaq has some significant movement on Priceline. It was actually up about $60 today, and that's another 60 on top of the 100 that it moved from the lows. So it pretty much mirrored the Nasdaq with the Priceline move. But again, it's just something that I would not be trying to short into right now. Because a pullback could just be 1 or 2 days, like we've seen, unfortunately, 2 day pullbacks and then just ripping back to the upside. So I wouldn't need to see at least a lower high for something I would be looking to short. The YM back into some type of resistance area, and again, let's try to really look at the past data to really say if there's something that we can get some leverage from. And you can see we're right about there. That's about as much of the move as this last one as it is now. So we're pretty much at us, and we had a sell-off, and it's just crazy that it's all the way this high. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you, but you can see we're hitting this resistance as well. The IWM is the one that has not really moved that much, and again, breaks above these highs. The shorts are off, but continues and breaks a low and continues this 114 area. We did look on Friday at the weekly just to say, okay, we see some type of weakness on this name, and again, it would just have to break below this 113.65 area. So we'll see if it does, and if it doesn't, then it breaks back up, and then you just continue to see some more long side. Remember, Apple's earnings are tomorrow, I think, after the close. So you can see Priceline ended up being up. I think it was up $60 at one point. So it's a huge move up already from here, $200 on the up move, which is insane, but it did it. So, you can't really complain about that one. You see that they, from the earnings, they sold off into it. So that's profit taken, and we want to see if they have any dip to test these previous levels here and then continue for some more upside potential. Lower high, breaking into this level, then we'll look at potentially what's going on. Amazon was up about 950, so again, they had their earnings, and maybe it's a gap and go. Tesla, again, is still flagging, so again, it's just see if it's going to hold these lows here and then continue for some more downside potential. Yeah, Baidu gapped up, and again, it looks like it could be turning today. So again, we'll see a break of a low and maybe a turn. And this is a shooting star with high volume against some previous levels here. So you can look at this. You see they tested, came back up, and then you can look at kind of like this level right here. You can see the lows they broke, and this was a previous high, so they got to a previous high after some significant move up. You got Netflix up $3. Again, it's still in, I would say, more of a bearish camp because of how it still hasn't cleared anything, And any break of a low of this 99.32 could mean some downside potential. And then you had the gap up from Goldman Sachs, so maybe they're gonna come back. I took a small short of this and I took it off. I just was like, I don't know where the hell this thing is gonna go, and it gapped up a little bit. And just continues to look like that. So you got LinkedIn again, is continuing with upside potential. Apple again selling, but they have earnings, so you don't know where it's going to go. Last time's earnings, they gapped up, faded down. Another earnings gapped up and continued up. So this continuation pattern is better than, again, you have the sell down on that portion, and we'll see what it does. Again, I don't really play earnings. You can see basically from here, if we look at it, of some fibs, you can see it's testing basically 61.8, but it's earnings, so not really sure. Facebook continues to look good, close strong into the close. Don't fight the trend. You had crude, excuse me, crude is down, and I'm still short this name, and it's continuing to still look down. I got short around here, and I'm just, I'm half position now, just rolling my stops down, maybe around this 46.12 area that we saw. But we saw this 44.44 was a key level, and they got below it, and they got as low as what 43.65. But I'll continue to just manage the position. So again, it's just to look and say, listen, don't let a quiet, don't try to short this quiet day. And just kind of looking at those banks and see where they're looking at. So you had the small little movements here, Goldman as well. You had Citigroup as well. Just again, they can move that one up. You see, excuse me, they break above this high. It's kind of like in that no man's land. So from a retracement side and being overbought, yes, but let's see what they do with these markets. It's been kind of really hard to predict, because it almost makes me not want to hold a damn thing overnight because of how choppy it's been. But we'll continue and see how that one plays out, and check it tomorrow. Take care.